In the late 19th century, a young Italian man journeyed far and wide in search of a better life. He would go on to work several jobs, one of which required him to be a bellhop boy and a railway worker in pursuit of his dreams. Little did he know he would discover his pathway after World War I and the global tragedy that would pave the way for his success. This man was Guccio Gucci, who went on to build one of the most luxurious and expensive fashion brands the world has ever known. This is the story of a young bellhop boy on his journey to success. On March 26, 1881, in the beautiful city of Florence, Tuscany, Gabriello Gucci, a Tuscan leather craftsman from San Miniato, and his young wife, Alina Santini, from Lastra a Signa, were blessed with a baby boy. They named him Guccio Giovan Battista Giacinto Dario Maria Gucci, but he was known simply as Guccio Gucci. Guccio had many interests, but following in his father's footsteps as a leather craftsman did not appeal to him. He wanted to search his own path in life and decided to explore the world in search of it. Little did his father, Gabriella, know that his stubborn son, who refused to follow in his footsteps, would one day revolutionize the luxury leather industry and achieve great success. Guccio Gucci began his search for a better life in 1897 when he was just 16 years old. He had thought deeply about how he could make money and eventually concluded that he needed to take the bold step and leave Florence to search for job opportunities elsewhere. That same year, he left Florence for London to search for ways to make ends meet to support his family. Despite going from shop to shop and place to place, he was unable to secure a job. Until he landed his first job as a bellhop boy at the luxurious Savoy Hotel in London. His job required him to carry guests' luggage and belongings as well as unload them. During his job, he noticed the elite guests had unique and spectacularly expensive tastes in fashion and fabric quality and preferred the best traveling conditions. He was so curious to learn more about their unique taste that he made it his duty to pay close attention to the luggage of the best dressed guests and, by doing so, learn their taste. However, working at the hotel only gave him a limited understanding of their fashion and fabric taste from afar, as he needed to experience it personally. Along the way, Guccio met his heartthrob, Ada Calvilli, and they fell deeply in love. Shortly after, Guccio Gucci and Ada got married in 1901, even though Ada was a single mother of one. As a loving husband, Guccio adopted Ada's son, Ugo, as his own, and they went on to have 5 children together, 1 girl and 4 boys. After his wedding, Guccio worked with the Compagnie des Wagons-Lits, a European rail company, to further his understanding of luxurious travel. The company specialized in providing high-end travel experiences to its customers, and Guccio worked there for 4 years. During his time at the company, he was intrigued by the unique tastes and desires of the wealthy and how they were willing to expend exorbitant amounts of money on luxury. However, in 1913, Guccio lost his son, Enzo, and was devastated. But losing his son wasn't all the bad news for Guccio during this period, as his learning experiences were also cut short by the start of World War I. After the war, Guccio continued to learn about luxury by working with a luxury luggage maker named Franzi. He worked with Franzi for a while before returning to Italy in 1921, where he decided to put his knowledge to work by opening his first shop. At the age of 40, Guccio opened his shop on the Villa della Vigna Nuova in Florence, which he named La Casa Gucci, meaning House of Gucci in English. Starting his shop brought a wave of emotions for Guccio, and he was particularly happy that he could finally do what he loved and hoped to one day experience the luxuries he had learned about. The House of Gucci began as a small merchant of imported leather luggage, with a small workshop where local artisans crafted leather goods. As the business boomed, Guccio Gucci purchased a bigger workshop to accommodate his 60 artisans. Within just a few years of opening, the House of Gucci became successful with locals, with several customers recognizing it as one of the best leather shops in the area. Unfortunately, in 1935, the dictator Mussolini invaded Ethiopia, causing a rivalry between Italy and the United Nations that led the UN to impose a trade embargo on Italy. This was a significant blow for the House of Gucci since leather was their main manufacturing material. But this unfortunate event will go on to be the stepping stone for the House of Gucci to the luxurious status it has today. To minimize the damage from the trade embargo, Guccio Gucci improvised and introduced new fabric materials such as raffia, wood, linen, jute, and wicker. At first, Guccio was skeptical about the transition, but the transition to other fabrics was relatively easy for the House of Gucci, and the business soon peaked. Guccio Gucci then created the Gucci signature and the trademark Cuoio Grasso, meaning the Rombi Montif and a novel tanning procedure he invented. In 1937, Guccio Gucci launched the first ever Gucci handbag, which was a resounding success due to its quality. After the launch, the business boomed, and Guccio Gucci enlisted the help of his family members to manage and work at the shop, making it a family-owned business. Aldo Gucci, one of Gucci's children, took a special interest in the business and became the strategic thinker and consultant of the company. Like his father, he thought of ways to grow the family's business. One idea he had to grow the business was to expand the store to new branches in several locations. Guccio Gucci bought this idea and set out to open a new shop in Rome, the capital of Italy, in 1938. The idea was a good one at the time, as Rome was a better location to increase sales and grow the business. After opening the new shop, Gucci gained a prestigious local status in Italy and expanded its accessory lines. However, World War II brought new challenges, and the House of Gucci artisans had to make special boots for soldiers and handbags out of cotton canvas instead of leather due to a shortage of leather materials. The canvas used to make the Gucci handbags featured a unique double G symbol combined with prominent red and green bands. Shortly after the invention of the canvas, the Gucci crest was created, which became synonymous with the city of Florence due to the local popularity the business had gained. The Gucci crest was notable for its symbol, which had an armored knight inscription surrounded by a shield. After seeing the success and progress of the Roman expansion after the war, Guccio Gucci decided to distribute the controlling shares among his three sons, Aldo, Vasco, and Rodolfo. And the company continued to grow and gain local fame. In 1947, Gucci launched its first bamboo bag, which was also a great success. The company then introduced its first global tagline, "Quality is remembered long after price is forgotten." In 1952, Gucci launched the iconic moccasin Gucci loafers. Sadly, Guccio Gucci died on the 2nd of January 1953 in Milan, leaving the company for his sons to manage. Following the death of Guccio, the oldest son, Aldo was passionate about the business and was pleased to grow it with his siblings. It began as a cordial family business partnership and eventually expanded internationally. That same year, shortly after Guccio's death, Gucci opened its first international branch in the New York region of the United States under Aldo's control. In 1960, Gucci opened its second New York store at the prestigious St. Regis Hotel. The following year, Gucci expanded to other countries, opening its first stores in London and Palm Beach. The first Gucci Jackie bag was launched that same year, increasing the brand's popularity and luxury status due to its unique quality. To continue its expansion, Gucci opened its first French store in Paris in 1963, with this store being located strategically near Place Vendôme to attract elite customers significantly. In 1964, Gucci introduced the double G logo for belt buckles and other accessories. In 1966, Rodolfo Gucci and Vittoria Ocanero designed the famous Flora Gucci scarf for Grace Kelly, the Princess of Monaco. When the company's Rodeo Drive store opened in October 1968, it received its first wave of Hollywood attention, and many Hollywood stars endorsed the brand. The opening of the Rodeo Drive store led to the launch of the first Gucci dresses, a significant rise in sales in the United States, and a global expansion with new stores in Hong Kong, Tokyo, and the Middle East. Roberto, Aldo's son, who was in charge of the Brussels location, engineered the first opening of the first Gucci franchise store. By the start of 1969, Gucci had gained global recognition and was managing 10 shops in the United States, leading then U.S. President John F. Kennedy to award Aldo Gucci the title the first Italian ambassador to the United States. After a successful global expansion, Gucci's children decided to expand the brand's luxuries to other niches besides clothing. Gucci then partnered with American Motors Corporation to create the Gucci AMC Hornet and launched the first Rolls-Royce luggage set in 1970. The Gucci Sportabout wagon would also mark the first exclusive premium trim package of an American automobile. In 1972, Gucci launched the E Mia Perfumo perfume and the Gucci wristwatch model 2000. The following year, it opened its first franchise in the US and another store in New York, earning New York the nickname Gucci City. In 1977, Gucci opened the Gucci Galleria in its Beverly Hills store, an exclusive art gallery only accessible to high-end customers with the golden key. From 1978 to 1984, a Miami-based coach builder sold and marketed a Gucci version of the Cadillac Seville sedan. In 1985, the New York Permanent Collection added Gucci loafers to its collection. As the years passed, Gucci continued to scale up the company and introduce additional luxuries, controlling the main luxury sectors, and becoming one of the finest luxury brands globally, earning respect and adoration. The House of Gucci continued to achieve several successes with the help and cooperation of the family, as each member worked together to bring about the company's growth. However, something happened that changed everything. By the late 20th century, the House of Gucci had grown significantly in size and status, with its luxury brand stationed in almost every country. Although it started as a cordial family-owned company, the more family members got involved, the more sad tales of battles for control emerged. In 1974, Vasco Gucci, one of Guccio's sons who had been childless, passed away, leaving the company's shares to his brothers, Aldo and Rodolfo. After Vasco's death, Aldo and Rodolfo decided to divide the company's shares equally. Aldo, who had three sons, Paolo, Giorgio, and Roberto, interested in the family business, shared his 50% of the division, giving each of them 3.3% while retaining 40%. Rodolfo kept his 50% share solely, although Aldo had only a 40% controlling share. He was given managing rights of the company as the elder brother. But when Aldo Gucci's sons became more involved in managing the family business, a family feud emerged, leading to bad blood and hatred. The family feud started in 1969 when Giorgio, one of Aldo's sons, launched a Gucci boutique without the company's approval. The family was angered by his insubordination, but that was just the beginning. The feud would escalate in the 1980s when Paolo, another of Aldo's sons, tried to create his brand, Gucci Plus, despite the idea being rejected by his father and uncle. Paolo's extreme insubordination led to his firing and removal from their family business, causing him to hate his father and uncle. In an interview with People magazine, he defended his actions, stating that he intended to expand the company by enlisting new investors to make it more contemporary. He said, "I wanted to bring in other financial backers and make the business run on more modern lines," he said. But the Guccis have medieval concepts of business, so I became the black sheep. Other feuds also erupted. criticizing Aldo's role in developing Gucci's international brand under Gucci America. The family feud was so intense and bitter that they decided to reduce the tension by making the company a publicly traded company. In 1982, Gucci became a publicly traded company, but the conflict did not end there. The dark tale of the House of Gucci began after the death of Guccio's son. Following Rodolfo's death, Aldo assumed full control of the company until Rodolfo's son, Mauricio, inherited his father's shares in the company. Mauricio has waited for this opportunity for so long, particularly since his father had refused to give him a share of his stake while he was alive. As soon as he inherited his father's 50% controlling shares, he launched a legal battle against his uncle, Aldo, for full control of Gucci as the majority shareholder. The case was decided in Mauricio's favor, and he gained managerial control of the company. However, Mauricio was not satisfied with this victory because he disliked his uncle and did not want him to have any further involvement in the family business. To achieve his goal, Mauricio conspired with his cousin Paolo, who was resentful of his father for excluding him from the family business, to expose Aldo, who was 81 years old at the time, for tax evasion. Their scheme was successful, and Aldo was sentenced to a year in federal prison in 1986. Mauricio then awarded Paolo the opportunity to realize his lifelong dream of opening his own fashion line. While in prison, Aldo sought revenge on Mauricio and accused him of forging his father's signature to avoid paying inheritance taxes. As a result of this accusation, Mauricio fled to Switzerland to avoid prosecution. He was eventually found guilty but later acquitted. Meanwhile, Paolo's fashion line was a total failure, and Gucci suffered several setbacks and losses under Mauricio's leadership. First, the artwork in the Gucci Galleria was liquidated, and shortly after that, in 1988, Mauricio sold 47.8% of Gucci's shares to Investcorp, the company's new owner. In 1989, Mauricio became the chairman of Gucci, and in 1990, Aldo died of prostate cancer. Despite the setbacks Gucci experienced, the business was still booming. But the company's success was largely due to the large quantity of Gucci products being produced during the 1970s rather than Mauricio's efforts. With this, Gucci's sales peaked at $400 million. However, this success did not translate into maintaining Gucci's status as a luxury brand. In fact, the opposite occurred, and Gucci's finances and status suffered negatively in the early 1990s due to Mauricio's extravagant lifestyle and bulk production. In 1993, Mauricio sold the remaining 50% of the company's stock to Investcorp for $170 million, ending the Gucci's family control of the company. This marked the end of Gucci as a family company. During the reign of Gucci as a family-owned company, the Gucci family feud continued, and tensions rose within Maurizio's home. His wife, Patrizia Regaini, was unhappy with how Mauricio handled the business after he stopped listening to her advice. She had tried repeatedly to help him build the company, but he was overwhelmed with the power and status he gained from being the sole controller of the company. Eventually, their relationship became strained, and one day, Mauricio left home and never returned. They divorced the following year, but retained their enmity and hatred for each other. On March 27, 1995, Mauricio Gucci was assassinated in cold blood by hitmen outside his office in Milan. It was later revealed that his ex-wife Patrizia had hired the hitman to carry out the murder. After Mauricio's death and the loss of the company, the Gucci family feud came to an end. In 1999, Kering, formerly known as Pinot Printemps Redoute, acquired control of Gucci, making Gucci a subsidiary of the French luxury group. Despite this change in ownership, Gucci remains one of the world's most luxurious fashion brands, with over 540 stores in various countries and a net worth of more than $18.2 billion. So, this is the story of Gucci. For more stories on other companies, subscribe to our channel. Also, remember to like and leave a comment below and let us know which companies you would like to learn about next. Click on the card on the screen to learn about the next company.